Alexander Armstrong, and this is Pointless, the quiz show where the lowest scorers are the biggest winners. To stay in the game, our contestants need to score as few points as possible, and the way they do that is by giving those obscure answers that nobody else can remember. We've asked all our questions on Pointless to 100 people before the show. All our contestants need to do is find those little-known answers that as few of our 100 people gave as possible. So, for example, we gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many people who have married into the House of Windsor as they could. And we found out that 85 of them said Princess Diana, an obvious answer that would, of course, score you a horribly high 85 points. However, only 31 of them said Mark Phillips, a less obvious answer that would score you a respectably low 31 points. Now, occasionally there are even some answers that none of our 100 people could name. So, for example, none of them said Timothy Lawrence. So he would have been a truly pointless member of the royal family, if you get my drift. And that would score you absolutely nothing. And that's exactly what we want. If we find any of those, then we will add £250 to today's jackpot. Without further ado, let's meet today's players. Louise and Catherine, welcome back. We gave everyone 2 chances to reach the Pointless final, and today is your final chance. Can you remind us where you're from and how you know each other?
From Nottingham, and we're sisters.
Splendid. How did you get on last time?
Well, we're a little bit disappointed because we nearly got to the final.
You nearly
and we just
did.
got pipped by our inferior knowledge.
I'm afraid it just does happen. It will happen. Anyway, best of luck this afternoon.
Thank you.
On to our second pair. Paul and Lisa, you are the second pair today. Welcome to the show. How do you two know each other?
Well, we met each other about 10 years ago when we were in college, and I've been stuck with him ever since.
Oh, I can't believe that. Well, I hope you do very well this afternoon. Best of luck to you. On to our third pair. Sarah and Hannah, you are the third pair. Welcome to the show. How do you two know each other?
We've known each other rather a long time, and probably most of our lives. We are sisters, and we are also best friends. And
that's nice.
finally, as if that wasn't enough, we became business partners as well.
Very good. Wow. So, which are you first and foremost? Sisters, friends, business partners?
Sisters earliest, I guess.
Excellent. Good. Well, yeah, absolutely. Well, let's hope you're still friends at the end of this afternoon's show. On to our fourth pair, Sylvia and Margaret. Welcome to the show. How do you two know each other?
We've been sister-in-laws for over 30 years. We come from Norwich in Norfolk, and we spend a lot of time together and with our families.
Splendid. Well, the very best of luck to you this afternoon. And welcome back to Graham and Ian. This is your second and final time on the show. Remind us how you two know each other.
We know each other from university. We met in halls about 13, 14 years ago now. We're placed just a couple of rooms apart. A couple more rooms and maybe we'd never be here.
Never would have met. Best of luck to you. Of course, there is one final person I must introduce. He is the man in the know, the man with all the pointless facts and figures. He is my pointless friend. It's Richard.
Yeah, I've got all the questions for today's show right here, all the answers as well. At the end of each question, I'll be going through all the pointless answers. Those are the things that none of our 100 people have said. If you're playing along at home, that's when you find out how you've done. I'll also take you through the obvious answers, the things that everybody has said. As always, you don't know any of the questions on today's show. So best of luck to you all, and best of luck at home.
The jackpot hasn't been won in the last 3 shows, so it rolls over, and today's jackpot total is £4,500. An obscene amount of money. We really are hoping that one of our players will be taking that home at the end of today's show. And remember, if you find some pointless answers along the way, each one of those will add £250 to that amount. Let's play Pointless. In the first round, each of you must give me one answer, and you cannot confer with your partner. You'll score 1 point for every one of the 100 people that gave that same answer. And remember, this is Pointless, so you're trying to find the least well-known answers and score the fewest points. If anyone gives me an incorrect answer, they will score the maximum of 100 points, so do please be careful. If you do give an incorrect answer, this will happen. Yeah, exactly, and you don't want that. At the end of the round, your combined scores will be totalled up, and the highest scoring pair will be eliminated. Obviously, only 2 pairs will make it through to our head-to-head semi-final, so the pressure is really on. Our first category is Geography. Geography. Look how thrilled everyone is. Geography. OK, can you all decide in your pairs who's going first and who's going second? And whoever's going first, please step up to the podium. Right, let's find out what our first question is going to be. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many countries in Asia as they could. Countries in Asia. Richard, can you be more specific?
Yeah, we're looking for any country that's either wholly or even partly in Asia. As always, by a country, we mean a UN member, which is a sovereign state. There are 47 countries in Asia.
Thanks very much, Richard. OK, Louise and Catherine, before the show you all drew lots, and today it turns out you will be starting us off. Catherine, countries in Asia, the more obscure the better.
Bangladesh.
Bangladesh. Remember, you are looking to score as few points as possible. OK, let's see how many of our 100 people said Bangladesh. It's the right answer. It's not bad. Down it goes, look at that. Very good. That means that 12 of our 100 people said Bangladesh. That starts Catherine and Louise off with a pretty good score of 12. OK, Paul, we want countries in Asia.
China.
OK.
I don't know.
Like I say, we're looking for really obscure countries in Asia. China. Let's see how many of our 100 people said that. Well, that means 78 of our 100 people said China. That gives you a pretty high score of 78. On to our next pair. Hannah, we want countries in Asia, a really obscure one that no one's heard of, please.
I think I'm going to go for Indonesia.
Indonesia. OK, let's see how many of our 100 people said Indonesia. It's going down. Not bad. That means 22 of our 100 people said Indonesia. On to Sylvia.
I'm not sure if this is even in Asia. Thailand?
Thailand. OK, let's see how many of our 100 people said Thailand. It's good. Not bad. That means 42 of our 100 people said Thailand. On to our final pair. Ian, what are you going to give me? A country in Asia, please.
Malaysia.
Malaysia. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Malaysia. It's correct. Not bad. That means 22 of our 100 people said Malaysia. OK, we're halfway through the round. Let's take a look at the scoreboard. An interesting scoreboard. 22, a very popular score. Graham and Ian, and Sarah and Hannah congregating around that point. Paul and Lisa looking very vulnerable out there on 78. That is the highest score by quite a margin. And then down at the bottom, Louise and Catherine looking very good on 12. You can keep up that low scoring, you'll definitely be through to the next round. OK, we're going to come back down the line. Can the second players please take their places at the podium? Graham, we are looking for countries in Asia. I want a really obscure one from you. You are currently on 22. To avoid becoming the high scorers and overtaking Lisa and Paul, you have to score 55 or less with this answer.
And I'd love to say an obscure one, but as soon as I got knocked out first last time, I'm going to be safe and say Cambodia.
Cambodia. OK, here is your red line. That's the magic line. If you are below the red line, you are definitely through to the next round. If you're above the red line, you become the high scorers and risk elimination. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Cambodia. Well, it's correct. It's good enough. Very good. Look at that. Down to 13. That means only 13 of our 100 people said Cambodia. That brings your score up to 35. You are definitely through to the next round. Margaret, you are on 42. You have to score 35 or less with this answer to avoid becoming the high scorers. What are you going to give me? A country in Asia?
I don't even know if it's in Asia, but I'm going to say Malawi.
Malawi. OK, if it is a wrong answer, you will, I'm afraid, score the maximum of 100 points. There is the red line. If you are below that red line, you are through to the next round. Above that red line, you risk elimination because you will be the high scorers. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Malawi. Bad luck, Margaret. Unfortunately, that is a wrong answer, which means you do score the maximum of 100 100 points. That takes your score up to 142. That means you are the high scorers. Richard, Malawi.
Yeah, we're looking for countries in Asia, and Malawi's a country, so that bit's good, but it's in Africa. It's on the east coast of Africa.
That's good.
Thanks very much, Richard. On to our next pair, Sarah and Hannah. Obviously, you are safe. You're through to the next round. Even if you score the maximum of 100 points, you still won't overtake Margaret and Sylvia. So let's see if you can find a pointless answer. We're looking for countries in Asia. Find a pointless country in Asia. There must be some, surely.
Well, the two answers that I had thought of had already gone. So I'm going to have to go with Philippines.
The Philippines. Very good. Let's see how many of our 100 people said the Philippines. That's a correct answer. It's good. Very good. That means 8 of our 100 people said the Philippines. That brings your total up to 30. Right, Lisa and Paul. Lisa, you've got to give me a country that will score you 63 points or less. Anything over 63 points and you are out of the game. What's it going to be? A country in Asia, please.
Well, I'm probably going to look really stupid because I don't even know if it is a country.
That's good news to Margaret and Sylvia. Music.
No, I'm just going to go with, I'm going to say Vietnam.
How many of our 100 people said Vietnam? It's correct. Good news for Lisa and Paul, bad news for Margaret and Sylvia, I'm afraid. That means 33 of our 100 people said Vietnam. That takes your total up to 111. You are through to the next round. Finally, Louise, you're on 12. Why not see if you can find a pointless answer and add £250 to our jackpot? What's it going to be?
I don't even know whether it's in Asia, but I'm going to go for Bahrain.
Okay. It doesn't matter. You know, you're so far ahead, you could say whatever you liked, much as you did. OK, let's see how many of our 100 people said Bahrain. If it is an incorrect answer, it'll score you 100 points. It's good. It's very good. Look at that. Well, that means only one person out of 100 people said Bahrain, which brings your total up to 13. I'll tell you what, I've just learnt something. Richard, do you want to just hammer it home to me?
I can confirm that Bahrain, like Vietnam, is a country, and it's in Asia. Yeah.
OK, very good. So, at the end of round one, the losing pair with the highest score, I'm afraid, is Sylvia and Margaret. Sylvia and Margaret. It was Malawi, see, that did for you.
Oh.
That did for you. What are the answers they should have gone for?
Well, there were 7 pointless answers. These were answers that none of our 100 went for, so if you got them at home, it's very, very well done. If we take a look at them. There's Armenia, one of the former Soviet republics, Bhutan, East Timor, let's take a look at a couple more, Georgia, another former Soviet republic, Lebanon, the Maldives. You're not allowed to drink in the Maldives at all, apart from in holiday resorts, which is one of the reasons why the whole of the Maldives are now holiday resorts. If you've got any of those, well done. Let's take a look at the worst answers you could have come up with, the most obvious ones. Paul, I may surprise you to know we've already heard one of these. The third worst answer was Japan. Second worst answer you could have come up with, second most obvious was India. And Paul introducing himself to the show in fine fashion with the most obvious answer of all, China.
Thanks, Richard. So, OK, Sylvia and Margaret, remember, everyone gets 2 chances to reach our pointless final. So we will see you again next time for your last chance. But thank you so much for playing today. Thank you. For the remaining 4 pairs, though, it's time for round 2. OK, guys, the round 2 category is awards ceremonies. Awards ceremonies. OK, can you decide in your pairs who's going first and who's going second? And whoever's going first, please step up to the podium. Now remember, Pointless is all about scoring the fewest points. You need to rack your brains for those obscure and unheard of answers you think the fewest of our 100 people said. With that in mind, let's find out what the question is. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many winners of the Best Actress Oscar since 1970 as they could. Richard.
Yeah, we're looking for the actresses who've won the Academy Award for Best Actress in a Leading Role since 1970, so not Best Supporting Actress. There are 35 names on the list.
Thanks very much. OK, Louise, you are first up. We're looking for a Best Actress Oscar winner since 1970. Really obscure one, please.
Probably not obscure. The first that jumps to mind would be Kate Winslet.
Kate Winslet. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Kate Winslet. It's good. Down it goes. That's not bad. That means 30 of our 100 people said Kate Winslet. On to our next pair. Lisa, a Best Actress Oscar winner since 1970.
She's probably been said by everyone, but I'm going to say Gwyneth Paltrow.
OK, Gwyneth Paltrow. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Gwyneth Paltrow. It's right. Oh, it's good. That means only 14 of our 100 people said Gwyneth Paltrow. Richard, Gwyneth.
Yep, which won in 1999 for Shakespeare in Love. Good answer.
On to our next pair, Sarah.
I'm going to go for Halle Berry.
Halle Berry. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Halle Berry. It is correct. Oh, it's very good. That means 22 of our 100 people said Halle Berry.
Yeah, Halle Berry, it's a good answer. She won in 2002 for Monsters Ball and made it actually a genuinely moving speech. I was moved.
Good. That's the main thing. OK, on to our final pair. Ian, we are looking for a winner of the Best Actress Oscar since 1970.
Not my strongest subject, but I'm hoping Elizabeth Taylor has won it.
Elizabeth Taylor. Is that a shot in the dark, do you think, or is that...
It's one of the only famous actresses I can name.
OK, let's see how many of our 100 people said Elizabeth Taylor. Oh, dear. I'm afraid that's a wrong answer. That scores you the top score of 100 points. Bad luck. So, Richard, Elizabeth Taylor.
Yeah, well, you know, she is a famous actress, I'll give you that. And actually, she has won 2 Oscars, but both before 1970. She won in 61 for Butterfield 8, and she won in 67 for Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, but not post-1970.
Bad luck. OK, well, we're halfway through the round. Let's have a look at the scoreboard. Graham and Ian looking very dangerous there on 100 points. You've got to try and score as low as you can, Graham, on the next pass, and hope everyone else scores as high as possible. At the other end of the board, Paul and Lisa looking very strong on 14. Paul, if you can find another low-scoring answer, you'll definitely be through to the next round. Well, still a pretty open field there. OK, we're going to come back down the line. Could the second players please step up to the podium? OK, Graham, we are looking for winners of the Best Actress Oscar since 1970. You are the highest scorers on 100, so you've really got to score low now.
I'm going to say Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron. If it's a wrong answer, you will score another 100 points. But it might just be wonderfully obscure. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Charlize Theron. It's good. That's a very good answer. Look at that. That means only 5 of our 100 people said Charlize Theron. That brings your total up to 105. You are still the high scorers, but the game is not over yet. Richard, Charlize Theron.
Yeah, she won for Monster in 2004, which plays a serial killer. Plays her rather well. Lots of makeup, making her look unattractive. This must have taken some time.
Glasses are steamed up a bit there, Richard. OK, on to our next pair. Hannah, you are on 22. Just to remind you of how the scores stand, you are on 22. Our high scorers are Graham and Ian on 105. You have to score 82 or less to avoid becoming the top scorers. We're looking for a Best Actress Oscar winner since 1970.
I'm going to go for Oprah Winfrey.
OK. There is your red line coming in now. If you come below that red line, you are through to the next round. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Oprah Winfrey. Unfortunately, that is an incorrect answer. That's terrible news for you. Great news for Ian and Graham there. You score the maximum of 100 points. That takes your score up to 122. You are the new high scorers. Richard, Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah, it was. She never won an Oscar. She was nominated for a Best Supporting Actress for The Colour Purple, but not even nominated for a leading actress.
OK, Paul and Lisa, you are now fine. Even if you score the maximum of 100 points, you're still through to the next round. So why not try and find a pointless answer and add some money to our jackpot? What are you going to give me, Paul?
Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman. I have a good feeling about this. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Nicole Kidman. It's good. Down it goes. Very good. Look at that. That means that 8 of our 100 people said Nicole Kidman. That takes your score up to 22. OK, on to Catherine. Your score is 30. To avoid becoming the high scorers and being eliminated, you have to score 91 or less with this answer. We're looking for a Best Actress Oscar winner since 1970.
I'm going to say Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Meryl Streep. There is your red line. If you come below that red line, you are through to the next round. Above that red line, you are off the show. How many of our 100 people said Meryl Streep? It's good enough. Not bad. That means 16 of our 100 people said Meryl Streep. That brings your total up to 46. You are through to the next round. So at the end of round 2, the losing pair with the highest score, I'm afraid, is Sarah and Hannah. Bad luck. Halle Berry, not a bad score there. Oprah Winfrey, though. Were you thinking of The Colour Purple?
I was thinking of The Colour Purple, yeah.
You see, that would have been a fantastically obscure answer had it been right. Richard, what answers should they have gone for?
Well, there were 9 pointless answers. There's lots of low-scoring ones and 9 pointless ones. If anyone's screaming any of these at the screen now, well done. Let's take a little look. Diane Keaton, who won for Annie Hall. It's absolutely wonderful. Frances McDormand, who won for Fargo. Geraldine Page won for The Trip to Bountiful. Let's take a look at a couple more. Helen Hunt won for As Good as It Gets with Jack Nicholson. Jessica Tandy, the oldest ever Best Actress winner for Driving Miss Daisy. Louise Fletcher won for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Let's take a look at the worst answers you could have given. We've already heard most of them. Third worst answer was Helen Mirren.
Really?
Yeah, who won for the Queen. Then Sarah, you gave us Halle Berry. That was the second worst answer, most obvious answer. Who would have thought? And the most obvious answer of all, Louise, you gave us this first off. It was Kate Winslet, who won, of course, for The Reader.
Very good. Thanks, Richard. OK, Sarah and Hannah, you've wasted one of your chances to get to the pointless final. We have to say goodbye for today. We'll see you next time for your last chance. Thanks so much for playing. Thank you. Now, obviously, only 2 pairs make it through to the head-to-head, so this is your final chance. All of you need to find those low-scoring answers to stay in the game. The round 3 category is musicals. Catherine looks thrilled with that. OK, who's going to go first? Who's going to go second? And whoever's going first, please step up to the podium. Right, let's find out what the question is going to be. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many colours of Joseph's Technicolor Dreamcoat as they could. Richard, how many colours are there in that coat?
There are, believe it or not, 29. As far as I'm aware, there's more colours than there actually are.
That'll be why it's a dream coat.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah. We are looking, guys, for any of the colours mentioned in the lyrics of the song Joseph and His Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat by Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice.
Remember, you need to score the fewest points. So you need to give me the answer that you think the fewest of our 100 people said. Louise, I want a colour from Joseph's Technicolor coat.
I'm going to go for purple.
Very good. Let's see how many of our 100 people said purple. It's good. It's not that good. That means 69 of our 100 people said purple. That kicks you off with a pretty high score of 69. Paul, a colour from Joseph's Technicolor Dreamcoat, please.
I'm going to go for turquoise.
Turquoise. OK, let's see how many of our 100 people said turquoise. Unfortunately, that's a wrong answer. That means you score the maximum of 100 points. Turquoise. Richard.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, given how many colours there are, that turquoise wouldn't be in there. I think maybe it doesn't rhyme with any. Mind you, neither does purple, I guess.
No, it doesn't. You're right. OK, Ian, on to you. I'm looking for a colour from Joseph's Technicolor Dreamcoat, preferably one that no one else has thought of.
Well, I was going to take a chance, but I think I'll go for orange.
Orange. And that's not taking a chance. OK, that's good. Let's see how many of our 100 people said orange. It's a colour. Sadly, 97 of our 100 people said orange. That's only 3 better than making something up. OK, we're halfway through the round. Let's have a look at the scores. Well, it's an interesting scoreboard, Richard.
Yeah, isn't it just?
It's quite tightly bunched at the bottom end, I'd say. Paul and Lisa obviously on 100 points. Graham and Ian very close to them on 97. Both of you need to be scoring as low as you possibly can on the next pass. And Louise and Catherine, I thought 69 was looking pretty dangerously high, but I was wrong. 69 is brilliant. Keep up that kind of low scoring and you're straight through to the next round. OK, we're going to come back down the line. Can the second players please take their places at the podium? OK, Graham, we are looking for colours from Joseph's Technicolor Dreamcoat. You are currently on 97. In order to avoid becoming the high scorers and risking elimination, you have to score 2 or less.
Well, I'll have to guess at something. Indigo.
I don't know if you can see down here, but this is your red line. There it is. That's the red line. If you get below that red line, you are through to the next round. Above that red line, you become the high scorers and risk elimination. Let's see how many of our 100 people said indigo. Unfortunately, that is also a wrong answer, which means you score the maximum of 100 points. That takes your score up to 197. That is great news for Catherine and Louise. It means they are definitely through to the next round. Even if they score the maximum of 100 points, they won't overtake your high score. Lisa and Paul, though. Oh, it's close. If you score 96 or less, you are through to the next round. I want a colour from Joseph's Technicolor Dreamcoat, please.
I'm going to try and redeem us, and I'm going to say crimson.
OK, crimson. There is your red line. If you come below that red line, you are in the next round. If you are above that red line, you are off the show. Let's see how many of our 100 people said crimson. It's good. You're through. Down it goes. Look at that. Fantastic. That means that only 5 of our 100 people said crimson. That takes your total score up to 105. You are through to the next round. Graham and Ian, you are definitely off at the end of this round, I'm afraid. Catherine and Louise, you're completely safe. Even if you score the maximum of 100 points, you're through to the next round. Why not try and see if you can find a pointless answer and add some money to our jackpot?
I'm hoping that yellow is...
It is a coat
Because
of
I'm wearing yellow.
many colours. See a number of you supporting that colour. Let's see how many of our 100 people said yellow. That means 95 of our 100 people said yellow. That takes your total up to 164. So at the end of round 3, the losing pair with the highest score, I'm afraid, is Graham and Ian. Bad luck, guys. Are there any bright ideas dawning on you now the pressure's off?
Honestly, I was going to say indigo. Honestly, before he said that was going to be my answer, and I played safe, and that was going to be my answer, so we'd have both got 100.
Richard, what should they have said?
There were 5 pointless answers, 5 pointless colours. There's azure, which is the colour of the sky on a clear day. There's fawn, which is sort of yellowish brown. There's lemon, which is the colour of Paul's cardigan. 2 more, rose. And russet, which is a reddish brown. They're all somewhere in the lyrics of that song. They were all pointless, so well done if you got any of those. The most obvious answers is orange. We've already had from Ian, which got 97. Also with 97, it was blue. And Ian and Graham, do you want to have a guess at the most obvious answer of all?
Red. Chance.
Red is exactly right. Would have scored you 99.
Thanks very much, Richard. Graham and Ian, that was your second and final chance on the show. You just clearly don't have that musical knowledge you need to get through to our final, so we do have to say goodbye, but thank you so much for playing. Thank you. But for the remaining 2 pairs, things are about to get even more exciting as we now enter the head-to-head. So well done, Paul and Lisa, Louise and Catherine. You've made it through to the head-to-head. This is your second time in the head-to-head, Lisa.
Surprisingly.
Oh, better luck this time. Well, now, obviously, only one pair can make it through to today's final and play for the jackpot, which currently stands at £4,500. OK, here's how the head-to-head works. You are now allowed to confer. Each team will take turns to give me an answer, and you'll each have an equal number of turns. The first team that accumulates more than 100 points, or the team that goes over 100 by the most, will lose. So, as always, to stay in the game, you want to come up with those facts everyone else forgets and score as few points as possible. Louise and Catherine, you performed best over the first 3 rounds, so not only do you get to decide whether or not you go first, you also get to choose our topic. And your choice is between Olympic sports and British parks. What's it going to be?
British parks.
British parks. Excellent. And would you like to go first or second?
First, shall we?
Yeah.
Yes.
First.
Let's just go for
British
it.
parks, and you're going to go first. Right, let's play Pointless. OK, let's find out what the question is. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many national parks in Britain as they could. Richard.
We're looking for any of the 14 large areas of British countryside designated as a national park by the National Parks authorities for their conservation. We won't accept the South Downs because it's not going to become a national park until 2010.
OK, thanks, Richard. Remember, you don't want to go over 100, so you want to score the lowest number of points each time. What are those national parks no one else could think of? OK, Louise and Catherine, it's your turn to go first. What are you going to say?
Peak District National Park.
OK, let's see how many of our 100 people said the Peak District National Park. It's good. That means 45 of our 100 people said the Peak District. That gives you a score of 45 after one answer. Paul and Lisa.
The Brecon Beacons.
The Brecon Beacons. Very good. Let's see how many of our 100 people said the Brecon Beacons. It's correct. But it's good. Very good. That means 15 of our 100 people said the Brecon Beacons. Now, Louise and Catherine, you need to be careful now. Your next answer could take you over 100 points, and you could risk your place in the Pointless final. Name as many national parks in Britain.
Short on ideas, but I'm going to go for Snowdonia National
Snowdonia.
Park.
Taking one from your camp. Can't believe how dare you.
No.
Snowdonia. OK, that red line is your safety line. Below that red line, and you have avoided going over 100. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Snowdonia. It's good. It's good enough. That means 49 of our 100 people said Snowdonia. That gives you a total of 94 points after 2 answers. Paul and Lisa, I need a second answer from you. You are currently on 15. You have to score 85 or less to avoid going over the 100.
I'll have a guess. The Lake District.
The Lake District.
Yeah.
If it is an incorrect answer, you will score 100 points and you will be off the show. There is your red line. If you're below that red line, you have avoided going over 100 points. Let's see how many of our 100 people said the Lake District. It's right. Oh, it's good enough. That means 60 of our 100 people said the Lake District. That takes your total up to 75. You've each given me 2 answers. Louise and Catherine are on 94. Paul and Lisa are on 75. Louise and Catherine, I need a third answer from you. You need to score 6 or less with this answer to avoid going over 100.
I won't blame you because I haven't got a clue.
Dartmoor.
Dartmoor. OK, this red line here is your safety line. If you get below that red line, you have avoided going over 100. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Dartmoor. It's a correct answer. Louise and Catherine, you have gone over 100 points. Your score is now 129. But Paul and Lisa haven't given their third answer, so it's not over yet. Paul and Lisa, you have now got to keep below Louise and Catherine's score of 129. That means you have to score 53 or less to secure your place in the final and your chance to win today's jackpot.
Please give me help, I don't know.
Okay.
You say it.
We don't have a clue, so we're just going to go with one place that we think there's lots of grass and stuff.
That should be a national park.
So we're going to go with the Yorkshire Moors.
Let's see how many of our 100 people said the Yorkshire Moors. There's your red line. Oh dear. You have had 3 turns each, and Paul and Lisa, you have gone over 100 points by the most, which I'm afraid means you are off the show. I thought you were going to do brilliantly there. It sounded like you knew your national parks. Any you can think of now? Now the pressure's
I
off.
think there's one in Pembroke. I'm not too sure.
Well, you have another chance. I haven't seen The Last of Us, nor Us of You. Richard, what answer should they have gone for if they'd wanted to stay in?
Well, the Yorkshire Moors is very close. There is actually a specific bit of the Yorkshire Moors that's a national park, which is the North York Moors, and also the Yorkshire Dales, also as a national park.
I'm in orange.
So almost all of Yorkshire, apart from the bit you said, is a national park. The Pembrokeshire, the whole Pembrokeshire coast is a national park as well. There were no pointless answers. Take a look at a few of the least obvious ones. Norfolk Broads is a national park. Northumberland, your home county.
Yeah.
The whole of Northumberland is
It's
a national
all
park.
a national park.
Wow. Loch Lomond is a national park. The most obvious ones, we've had all of them already, so I'll fill you in on a few other ones that you could have said. Exmoor, New Forest, Yorkshire Dales, they would have all scored sort of in the middle. Pembrokeshire Coast and the Cairngorms both scored very low. Catherine and Louise gave us our third and second most obvious answer. That's the Peak District and Snowdonia. And then Paul and Lisa gave us the most obvious answer of all, the Lake District.
Thanks very much, Richard. OK, Paul and Lisa, you've wasted one of your chances to get through to the Pointless final. We have to say goodbye to you for today, but we'll see you next time for your last chance. Thanks so much for playing. Thank you. Congratulations, Louise and Catherine. You've fought off all the competition and you've won our coveted Pointless trophy. Now you've got a chance to win our Pointless jackpot. At the end of today's show, the jackpot stands at £4,500. Awful lot of money. The rules are simple. To win the money, all you have to do is find a pointless answer that none of our 100 people could think of. It's something nobody has managed to do today. Let's just hope you can find one now. First, though, you've got to choose a category from these 3 options. And you can go for Shakespearean characters, Wimbledon, or Elvis Presley.
Both of us know a bit about Elvis
We might
Presley.
do.
Yeah.
Shall we go for Elvis Presley?
You're going to go for Elvis Presley.
Yes, I think so.
OK, let's find out what the question is. So, we gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many Elvis Presley films as they could. Richard.
Yeah, very, very tricky. We're looking for any feature film made for cinema release for which Elvis Presley is credited as an actor. Not looking for any TV films, not looking for short films, documentaries, or anything where he plays himself. There are 31 Elvis Presley films.
OK, you now have up to 1 minute to come up with 3 answers. And all you need to win that £4,500 is for just one of those answers to be pointless. Your 60 seconds start now.
I think there was one set in the Deep South, I think it was called Creole Kid or something like that, and then there's Jailhouse Rock, which is bound to be
and
a
then
nice
what was
story,
Crying in
but
the
I mean,
Chapel,
that's
that
all right
record,
now.
what was that from?
I can't remember. I don't know, there's one called Loving You, or there's...
I can only remember the songs from them, and I can't think of that. I know there's Jailhouse Rock.
30 seconds.
Was the one where he was on holiday somewhere like Cliff Richard?
Yes, holiday. I don't know. I'm going to go for... oh, God, no. We'll have to go for a couple of the obvious ones like Jailhouse Rock and...
I think of something really absurd.
Creole Kid or something like that. I'm going to
10
go for
seconds.
that.
Could it be anything else? And you
We've
could
got to
change
find
the
a point
name
in this
round
one,
and get
haven't
a...
King Creole. That's it.
King Creole.
King Creole, is that one?
Your
Go for that
time
and then
is
think of something
up.
else.
Yeah, OK.
OK, which 3 answers are you going to give us?
We're going to go for King Creole, Loving You, and Jailhouse Rock, which isn't going to be a pointless one, definitely, but that's all we can think of.
OK, those are your three answers. King Creole, Loving You, and Jailhouse Rock. These are your three shots at the jackpot of £4,500. One of these has to be pointless. OK, let's go with your first answer. Let's see how many of our 100 people said King Creole. Well, it's correct. Down it goes for £4,500. Bad luck. That means 6 of our 100 people said it, so unfortunately that's not a pointless answer. Not a bad guess at all. Sadly, not a pointless guess. Now, you only have 2 more chances to win today's jackpot. We need a pointless Elvis Presley film. It's all that's standing between you and £4,500. Let's have a look at your next answer. This has to be pointless. Loving You. It's a correct answer. As I say, this is for £4,500. If that goes all the way down to 0, you have...
That's it. Done.
I'm sorry. 7. Only 7 of our 100 people gave that answer, so it is also not a pointless answer. You only have one final chance to win today's jackpot. This has to be a pointless answer. We've really got to hope that none of our 100 people said Jailhouse Rock. How are you feeling about Jailhouse Rock?
Not positive.
I reckon 100 will be the answer.
Let's see how many of our 100 people said Jailhouse Rock. This is your last chance to win £4,500.
I'm surprised.
Down it goes, below 50. Unfortunately, you didn't manage to find that all-important pointless answer, so you don't win today's jackpot of £4,500. However, you do get to take home our pointless trophy. That was a really tough category, wasn't it? Yes. I mean, of all Elvis Presley things you could know, films is really hard. I mean,
we should have been fans, really, I think, too.
You should have been. You could have been, though. If you'd been fans, it would have been it would have been easy.
Yeah.
Richard, what should they have said?
There were 12 pointless answers. There's lots of Elvis obsessors at home who've got some of these. Let's take a look at a few of them. Change of Habit, where I'm guessing you played a nun. Charo. Clam Bake, where I'm guessing you baked a clam. Paradise Hawaiian Style. Speedway, Spin Out. And well done at home if you got any of those.
Thank you very much indeed. You've been fantastic contestants. Nobody has won our jackpot today, so it rolls over again, which means next time we're playing for £5,500. Join us then to see if someone can win it on Pointless. Meanwhile, it's goodbye from Richard.
Goodbye.
And goodbye from me. Goodbye.